Hello everyone. So today I will be talking about Emma by Jane Austen. I have also talked about and made videos on Persuasion and Northanger Abbey, and make sure to check it. I will link it somewhere below. So today we will study about Emma. So before getting into the topic, let's just read a quote from Jane Austen herself, which she was writing before writing Emma. I am going to take a heroine whom no one but myself will much like. So, Jane Austen, she proclaims that Emma is such a heroine who is very similar to her, and her characteristics and traits are really identical with Jane Austen. She also writes Emma is spoiled. So that means Jane Austen, who has only touched upon the lives of upper middle class and upper class, so she has an immense pride of money and knowledge in herself. So that is what the character Emma is all about, which is very similar to Jane Austen. So now let's just move towards the story. So Emma, she is the protagonist of the novel. She returns from the wedding of Miss Taylor, who is her friend and a former governess to Weston. Emma was really happy because she was thinking that she made Miss Taylor and her husband to meet and to have this successful wedding. So she has that thought in her mind that she might be very good at matchmaking, but it was certainly not approved by her sister's brother-in-law, who is Mr. Knightley, and he is the one who is another protagonist who goes along with the life path of Emma and whatever she does. So Mr. Knightley, he was not in the favor of her doing a matchmaking because that may sound a little bit selfish and too harsh on others. But Emma is Emma, so that is why she does not listen to Mr. Knightley. Now Harriet, who is Emma's friend, one of the best friends, so Emma, she matched Harriet with Mr. Elton, and in order to woo Mr. Elton, Harriet must turn down the offer by Robert Martin. And Robert Martin, he is a good human being and he is wealthy, he has manners and everything. But in order to get Mr. Elton's attention, Harriet must turn down Robert Martin's proposal. And whereas Harriet is not so happy about it, but because Emma is a friend and one of the best friends, so that is why she decides to turn down the offer of Robert Martin, though she is not happy. Because Emma thinks that Mr. Elton and Harriet makes a good match. So let's see what happens next. So Mr. Elton, he thought that Emma is taking great interest in him, so maybe she likes him. So thinking that, he makes a proposal to Emma. And to Emma's surprise, she is taken aback because she never thought that Mr. Elton will propose her. It makes everybody very shocked and sad. Mr. Elton, when Emma turned down his offer, he furiously goes back and comes marrying with a woman, not so worthy women, and it makes Harriet really sad because Elton is now married and she already turned down Robert Martin's proposal. And Emma is really feeling sad and she is very heartbroken. Now comes another character named Frank Churchill, and he is Weston's son and he is adopted by one of his aunts. Mr. Knightley, he warns Emma that Frank may be a shallow character. So he told her to be a little bit beware of Frank. Then comes Jane. Jane arrives, and now she wants to take up a duty of governess. And Emma was really jealous of Jane because Jane Fairfax is a character who is really talented, and Emma's father, he has given all the foodings and fundings to Jane to complete her studies in best of universities, and she is really good at everything, so that is why Emma considers Jane to be a competition. Now comes Mr. Dixon. Now Emma thinks that Mr. Dixon and Jane makes a perfect match, and she also tells Frank that Mr. Dixon and Jane, they also had a good romantic time in the summer, and to that Frank does not react much, but he was with Emma only. Now Emma thinks that she is falling in love with Frank, but after some time, after 2 or 3 meetings, she turns down the idea of falling in love with Frank because Frank is really a shallow character. Now she also gets to know that Jane and Frank are engaged. And how she gets to know? Because Frank's aunt, she dies, and then Frank's uncle, who is a light-hearted human being, he tells everyone that they were married earlier, and because Frank's aunt would not have accepted this marriage proposal, so that is why he kept it a secret. Now Emma feels terrible because Emma really went wrong. She thinks that she is perfect, and whatever she thinks, people should do according to that. But this is really not the case. The world, it does not revolve around one character. So when Emma is really shocked, Jane is not talking to Emma. Meanwhile, Mr. Knightley, he consoles Emma, and what also happened that Harriet wants to marry Mr. Knightley, as Emma also thinks that Mr. Knightley is the perfect match to Harriet, but Mr. Knightley, he wants to marry Emma. So now Harriet takes up the second time proposal of Robert Martin, and they are the first couple to get married, so they got married, and after that Mr. Knightley and Emma, they also got married, and the third pair is the Jane and Francis. Now Emma admits her foolishness and says yes to Mr. Knightley, and Knightley also saw a very good features in Emma, because she takes up her mistake and she owns for her mistake. If she has done a mistake, she agrees, and this is the main difference between Elizabeth from Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice and Emma from Emma. So Elizabeth, she is a bit stubborn. Even Emma is stubborn, but Emma knows where she has gone wrong, and while Elizabeth is not at all owning up her mistake or whatever misunderstanding she has done, until at last she does admit. But Emma throughout, she admits, and one incident is that once Emma misbehaved with Miss Betsy. So then Knightley said Miss Bates, then Knightley told her to say sorry, and she apologizes. She accepts her mistake. So this is the basic difference. Anyways, I hope this chapter helped you, and if this chapter helped you, make sure to hit that subscribe button, and also comment down below how you are liking my videos, and make sure to check the other 2 texts as well. I will be linking down below. So till then, take care. Bye bye.